software component we will use to create this system. For the front end, we used HTML, CSS, JavaScript, basic languages to create web application. And for the back end, we use Swarm and blockchain, Ethereum blockchain and smart contract. And Node.js server sits between front end and back end to solve between those two components. So most of the traditional web application uses a centralized database to store all the data from the client side. But the whole point of our project was to make our system as decentralized as possible. So instead of using some old centralized database, we went for Swarm, which is a decentralized storage system based on Ethereum network. So this is the basic script to upload and download data to and from Swarm. So Node server will use this script to upload the images and description to Swarm and then download it from Swarm. And then how are all those product related purchases made from the client side stored in a blockchain? So they all are stored as a blockchain state variables. Let's say seller creates one more listing for a product, so that adds one more record which is stored in the smart contract as a state variable. And all those transactions made, those are all sits as a record in the smart contract. There are various state variables like transactions, product, and address of sender and address of receiver. So yeah. So now I'm going to go ahead with the demo, and Jorge will conclude the presentation after the demo. We have already deployed our smart contract on our local Ethereum network. Now we can start using the application, and our Swarm node is running as well. So let's say seller wants to create a product listing. So he or she can use, let's say I'm using this address as a seller to log into the application. Now, let's say a seller wants to create a product listing. So the product has been added. Now if buyer wants to browse all those listings, you can log in another Ethereum address. So you can see the transactions in the mass itself. So these are all the products so far uploaded to our system. Let's say user wants to buy Galaxy S9. It says transaction successful. Now we can see right now the balance of buyer is 79.9 Ether. Now it gets decreased to 67. That means for now smart contract is holding the amount. And the balance for seller is 190. So it does not get increased until the buyer says he or she has received the item. So once the seller ships the product, buyer has an option to issue payment after the delivery. So once the product has been delivered, buyer has an option to issue payment to the seller. He has issued the payment. balance has been increased by the amount of that product. So this is the general buying and selling thing that we have been working with so far. So that concludes the demo.
So what do you guys think about that demo there? Pretty cool, huh? So although it's cool, there are still some challenges that we're facing that we have to work with. We had another version of the demo there. So the biggest challenge is that we're releasing when the buyer and the seller agree, right? But we also have the idea of the ship. So how can we communicate with USPS or FedEx to confirm that something is shipped? So we would need the USPS or something to have their address potentially to go ahead and put that information in the blockchain. Which, as we were talking about Internet of Things and different sensors, that's something that's perfectly possible. But it's of course a challenge getting them to do it. Then we also have the idea, the same problem that in the Amazon or eBay have, which is the empty package problem, which they ship a package and the buyer says, well, it's empty. Well, is it really empty? Was it stolen during transit? Is the buyer trying to scam someone? Is the seller trying to scam someone? So that's the problem that we will have, they will have, everybody has. And then of course for that, what we need is an arbitrator, right? So that's when we would throw in some human factors to this and say, okay, let's see, only then do we get in the human and say, okay, let's look at this and be like, okay, who do we side with? So we do have that sort of backup system to be able to solve that. And this, of course, the legal challenges, like this is great because everybody can buy and sell, right? But not everybody's allowed to buy and sell things, right? We don't want to sell something to North Korea and then buy with some sanctions and then, go to jail for it. So there's also, taxes, taxes and cryptos are not in the best terms. So but of course we can always in the smart contract throw in there to charge some fees and keep some of the money. But so, to be able to be compliant with any laws that get passed in regards to that. And of course, the biggest problem being transaction times. I'll move over here for a second. Here we can see just a little graph of the transaction times. Bitcoin 7, these are the average times, of course. The average amount of transactions per second. This can go up and down a little bit. But you can see over here Ethereum. Now, interestingly enough, PayPal only is 193, and PayPal is used a lot. Of course, Visa's, it's up there. We're hoping, someday we'll get up there. I'm pretty sure, I'm confident on that. But I think it's much, much easier to get up there and beat PayPal. And I think that's a big accomplishment that we might not consider, that PayPal is only 193. We can get there. So that's one of the biggest challenges really is trying to see. So how can we solve that? Well, that's kind of our future work. Of course, we're trying to explore other blockchains with faster transaction speeds. But then, I said Ethereum is the second largest. We don't want to go to something that is amazing, it's supposed to be fast, but it's not adapted yet. And, we don't have, that brings up other issues. So of course, we're waiting to see where technology goes, and then we follow it. The other thing that we want to do is, of course, there's always going to be people, at least for now, that we want to use fiat, right? So what can we do for those guys? Well, we could introduce our own coin, or we could use something like Tether or Binance coin, and some of those other more stable coins that kind of track some currency, and then they can use that, and then we can avoid people who might be worried, well, I'm selling my item now, but tomorrow it's being sold for less or for more. It brings more balance. So that's something that we're exploring. Multiple points to pour and other things like that we want to explore. Again, we're waiting to see where technology goes, and then we'll go with it. That's the beauty of open source. People can go and contribute. So that concludes our presentation. Do you guys have any questions?
You need like a license to sell them, so is there like a way to verify someone does have like a license for that?
Well, one of the great things and bad things about blockchain is the fact that anybody can go and use them, right? So if we were to say, okay, only certain people are allowed to list something there, we're kind of, who gets to pick who allows what, right? That brings being centralized to a decentralized system. So that's one of the challenges that I was saying. Like we don't want someone that maybe shouldn't be selling something that isn't licensed to. We don't want Kim Jong-un to go in and buy nuclear weapons or something, right? So there's that problem, and it's definitely a challenge because, again, do we centralize it a little bit and limit people from buying it, or do we not? And maybe that can be a fork. That can be one path from one system of the market, and then another one can be where it's free for all, and see which one takes off.
Thank you. I'm extremely happy that you guys take the time and like kind of dissect this thing. Personally, what I do, which you were talking about the marketplace and taking advantage of the marketplace, personally, I educate business owners on how cryptocurrency works and how to open wallets and how to safely get a debit card and also at the same time use BitPay to convert your Bitcoins into cash, because they're always looking at how to monetize their coins. The one thing that we're forgetting, because you guys are all talking about products and selling them and putting them online. We have the biggest market here, which is people that own businesses. And they are hungry to find out how can they get the coins, like say for instance, if you go to a restaurant, like one up the street, like Victoria, you know, and they actually take Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin. And the biggest challenge for people is, well, how do I take the coins and then at the end of the day, turn it into a real transaction and pay the taxes? So it's all based on education. So what I would encourage you guys is not to overlook only what people do on a daily basis when they buy online. There are so many products and services that we can capitalize in the marketplace that is out there if you teach them adequately how does cryptocurrency works and how we can all take advantage of an opportunity that is sitting out there. And it's just dormant. 92% of the population doesn't know what we're talking about here. And that's why I'm here. Because we have the